I just watched the movie last night, so I'm still kind of like reeling off of it. Why do you think it was so important to make this movie right now?
I think that there are very few stories that are really about women in that genre. And for me as a director and a storyteller, that they're the stories that I really wanted to see when I was growing up. And it was all mainly men in those roles. And I wanted to see what it would look like to have a woman in that role. And not just any woman, sort of a real person that I could believe could exist in the real world outside of the cinema. And I think also it was really important to tell a story about sisterhood, about a positive female relationship, which is what's in Close, because that's quite rare as well.
Yeah, you have an interesting contrast between these characters who seem so different at first, and then by the end, they're unified in such a strong way, which I thought was really interesting. How do you think that would resonate with audiences, touching on kind of what you said earlier?
We spoke a lot about Thelma and Louise. That's one of my favorite films.
That's interesting.
And I think, I mean, it has something of that. And also, I grew up watching, like, I survived watching films. It was my paradise. It was my oxygen, right? And then, but it was always male characters. I saw myself in all these, like, amazing male characters. And I wish I grew up to more films like this. I wish there was more films like this when I grew up. So I think, I mean, my friends, and my sister is 24 and her friends have seen it, they love it, because it's kind of filling a space that it's not many films like this.
Yeah, I hope it's got a kind of like empowering message in there.
It does.
Great.
Yeah. It does. So going back to that first question to you, how do you if you have a different thought on that, how do you think it'll, why was it important for you?
I mean, first of all, I think I met Jackie, the real woman that my character is based on, and just listening to her life story, I don't really divide people, women and men, into different categories. I just look at people, and her life journey and her life story is just so shocking and inspiring and weird and dangerous and scary, and like it's just. It's like 5 films in there, you know. So I kind of totally fell in love with her and her extreme strength and commitment and her will and her passion to protect. It was just like so fresh in this world when people are so self-obsessed, and it's like it's about me, you know, like me, see me, you know, approve me, and then she's someone who doesn't want to be seen. She exists in the background. She's constantly looking, scanning, reading other people, but she doesn't want to draw attention to herself, which was really refreshing for me to step into that kind of to a character like that.
Yeah. Now, speaking of the character, there's this level of authenticity in the movie that was really impressive. What did you do to prepare for that, for both of you, from the role and just in terms of making the film?
So the film, for me, started meeting Jackie. I met her in this dodgy pub in East London, and she gave me a window into her world. And it's a world I think none of us really know anything about. And there's a lot of stuff going on underground that we've never heard about. So much stuff.
So that's when you call her, she's like, I mean, she's gone for like a week, and then she's been in like some Middle Eastern country, and she can't talk about what she's been doing. And you're like, okay, I'm not gonna ask.
Exactly, it's sort of fascinating. And so then when we got to the point where we were in rehearsals, she devised a whole mini bodyguard training session for Noomi, because you have to get a license to be a bodyguard, and it's like I think it's like a 9-week course or something. It's with the Security Industry Authority. So like 7 of them got together and gave Noomi an intensive, so that you could get into her headspace.
I had a couple of weeks when I was doing you know, weapon training, driving, walking, like positioning yourself. You know, so the person you're protecting is called the principal. So kind of learn how to move with the principal and be ready for whatever happens, like threats or just other people approaching. It was a total mind blowing, and like I kind of peeked into a world that I've felt, and I've been having protection for years on and off. But you never think about it, and then now I know so much more, and I have so much respect for what they do. But
And we both very much wanted to bring that authentic world to the film.
Yeah.
So that it didn't become like too movie-ish. We wanted it to feel real. So we didn't want Sam to be able to do anything that Jackie couldn't do.
Yeah.
And she worked quite closely with our stunt coordinator in order to achieve
And she's
that.
tough. She's like, if there's something she doesn't approve, she's like, would never happen. No, I don't approve. You're like, okay, no.
It's true. We had some on-set arguments between everyone like, discussing.
She's like, never
this
happened in
wouldn't
real
happen.
life. And
So
I was like,
okay.
we are not doing it then.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's so patient. I
Yeah.
noticed the character though, so seeing that was very cool. So
Yeah.
you were able to nail all of that in the 9 weeks.
Yeah, I think so. And I feel like, but it's also someone who doesn't show much and who has a lot of history, a lot of baggage, but that's like he shut the door to the past, to your own personal life. That's on hold. It's easy to live for someone else and to protect someone and you know, just forget about yourself. And then all of a sudden when your own volcanoes start popping, it's, you know, that's when it starts shaking for real. And that kind of finding that balance between Sam's personal life and her professional life, I mean, that's where it was most interesting to be.
Yeah, we worked a lot on like the word control came up a lot
Yeah.
when we were doing those, particularly the opening sequences when we see Sam at the kind of height of her professional career. It's that extreme calm that she has when shit goes down, basically.
Yeah.
And it was important for us to see that she's a thinker, so she doesn't just act. It's not like whipping out the guns.
And I took that with me. Like, I mean, I still today, when I'm walking, I was walking with my sister in London, and I realized that I positioned myself. There was like two drunk guys that approached us, and I kind of just put myself in between her and them. So like, like it's in my body in a different way now. To just like, okay, if something happens, I'll protect her, and I know that my body will take the first hit.